Good morning. Welcome to Parent Power Hour. Here we are. I'm so glad you're here, and it is almost exactly 10 o'clock. Look at this. It's been like 6 days, and I've finally got some things a little better for you. Make sure you can see everything in here. Yep, there's my mic. That's a real thing now. All right. Welcome. Good morning. I think you can hear me. Let me double check. Am I muted? I might be muted. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Okay. I think everybody can hear me now. That's great. Good morning, Elizabeth, or good evening. Naturally falls into my schedule after I walk the dogs. I love this little routine. Awesome. I love hearing that. Yes, finding our routines is it's like gold right now, right? And there's my mom, Miss Jeannie. Good morning. And Tina, good morning. I'm so happy you're all here. And I see we've got a few other people that have joined us as well. If you're here, this is Parent Power Hour brought to you by NewMinds.tv. And with New Minds Enrichment, I'm Kristen. And it is Wednesday over here in Dallas, 10 a.m. Elizabeth says there's some fuzz or static. It's the fan, and I haven't figured that out yet. I know there's some like digital settings that I need to have someone that's smarter than me do for that's happening in the background. I've kind of spent out on my basic knowledge. Let me change some things out. Pardon some noise for a second, guys. Here, how about I mute? I'm gonna work on some things. Okay, I've unmuted. I've also pulled the mic further away from the laptop. The laptop, I think if you've been with me a few times, it's working super hard. And so it's like the fan is always spinning right now whenever I go live. So I apologize for that. You get one thing figured out and other things start to get in their place. Thank you for the feedback, Elizabeth. I'll keep working on the sounds and see if we can improve. Let me get a little closer to you so we don't feel so far away from each other. Is that better? Okay. Oh, here we are. Wednesday, wonderful Wednesday. And I'm going to turn you down just a little bit. And yeah, you probably saw our title today that what I'm hoping to do with the titles for each of our Parent Power Hours is to have a question that puts up that you can ask yourself, or that might draw you into seeing if so you can see what kind of tips we're going to be getting into today. This week we've been talking a little bit about our daily challenges and the habits that we are setting ourselves up for, the habits that we're practicing, the habits that we are getting into, setting up a new way of doing our life. And this could be anything from adjusting to your new schedule with your family around, or restrictions and places you can go and times you can leave the house, those sorts of things. Logistically, of course. And then also the other part of our habits are how we're taking care of ourselves, which is what Parent Power Hour is about. Whether you're a parent or not, I hope that you're able to find some tips, tools, and strategies to help you improve yourself, to help you go through this hard time, even if it's not that much of a challenge for you, which please just tell us all of your secrets. But even if it's something that you're geared up for, some of us have been preparing for the worst case scenario for our entire lives, and it's finally here. And we get to practice all the things that we've been planning in our head. To take it lightly, it is not a light situation at all. But the plan is that when you come here, you spend some time for yourself to better center yourself, to better have more clarity on who you are, what's important to you, so then you can go and serve those who you work with, who you love, who you spend time with. Because even if you're chilling out in your apartment on your own, you probably are still on FaceTime groups, you're probably still on WebEx meetings with your company, making all of that happen. You are probably also a parent if you're here because of the title, and you're going to be seeing how there are all kinds of things that are challenges that are new for you. So that when we better take care of ourselves, we are more positioned to take care of those that we love and care about. Okay, so that's what this is, a little oxygen mask time for you. If you are a parent, I hope that you've gotten a comfortable place. If you're watching this later, go ahead and situate yourself in the house somewhere where you can tune in, be fully present to the questions that I pose to you, to the challenges that I invite you to consider in improving the way that you are handling every moment of the day, because we get one chance to live this life and we get many chances to start it over. Every day we can start over new again. And if you're just joining us, oh, hey, Justin's in, Tina's in, Shay's in. Good morning, Shay. Got a little crowd this morning. I like it. It's Wednesday. Everybody's like, we're ready for it. One thing that we've been doing this week, if you're just joining us now today, or if you're catching up from our recorded sessions on Monday and Tuesday, I've invited everyone that tunes in, as well as basically anybody I talk to, to join me in the 90-day challenge, the next 90 days challenge. And this 90-day challenge is not mine. I am participating in it, and it's really selfish that I'm inviting you to join me. It really is. Because, first of all, I don't like to do things alone. Surprise, surprise. This is why I come on and talk to you every morning. You guys give me a reason to, put on makeup and not be on PJs all day long. And I don't. I have on, yoga pants on under this, so it's real. Real clothes. And the other reason is that I did do a 90-day challenge at the end of the year in 2019. Yesterday I figured out, it was October, November, and December. I've been always referring to it as November and December for some reason. Anyway, I think because I think I often put a milestone on November because I had a really transformational experience in November, in the first week of November, that was a huge catalyst for a lot of the things that I'm doing now. The perspective that I have, the goals that I have, the reassurance that I'm on, the clarity that I have on who I am and my goals and where I'm headed in life. And so that happened to be in the middle of that 90-day challenge. And the 90-day challenge, it's put on, it's free. You sign up for it. The 90-day challenge, it's put on by the Hollis Co. Tina was a champ, and on Monday when I started talking about this, and I was like, I don't remember the website, and she was actually basically admin for me and found the website, and we got it pinned to the comments. So if she wants to do that again, I know she did sign up. Yes, I love it. And so what it is it's put on by Rachel and Dave Hollis, their company. It's totally free. You get weekly content in your email and all of that. If all of that sounds like too much for you, then just show up here, because a lot of what I'm learning along the way, a lot of the challenges that I am putting to myself, I'm also inviting you to help me also stay accountable. In the 90-day challenge, every day you focus on the 5 to thrive. You focus, or you challenge yourself to head out for having half of your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 100 pounds, your goal every day is to drink 50 ounces of water. If you're already drinking that much, continue or drink more. I was going to say no one's ever died from drinking too much water, but people do drown, and is that? Okay. Anyway, so number 2 is, or another of the 5 to thrive, is practicing daily gratitude. Intentionally writing down 5 things a day, either at the beginning of your day or at the end of the day, that have brought you joy, that you're grateful for. It can be anything big or small. And if you were with me in our first week here of Parent Power Hour, I was already encouraging you to do that. And now, as a part of this challenge, do it daily. It can be as simple as, I love these earrings. I'm going to write those down in my gratitude journal. Practice every day for only 5 things. I love this headband. I got it for Christmas. It makes me look like I did something with my hair, and it's cute. Oh, and it was made by um, refugee women. So like, there's so many things I love about it. So it can be small, silly things like that, or it can be. Oh yeah, Shay says you can OD on water. Okay, thanks. That's really helpful information. You can pop that over in the real comments. Like that's everyone needs to know that. um, that you can be grateful for it, big or small. It could even be things like, it's a sunny day here in Dallas. Like the sun is out. I can see the sun in the windows. Or it could be, that I had 20 minutes, 30 minutes to myself that I got to tune in to some of the Parent Power Hour and get some time to myself. So thank you, Tina. She rescued us again. If you choose to join up, I'm going to go ahead and pin that. I would love to have you join me. It's totally free. So water, gratitude, 30 minutes a day, move your body. That can be anything from an actual workout to going on a few walks at 10-minute chunks. It's anything. Fourth thing is, yes, we do love these earrings and the headband. Thanks. These earrings are actually from Greece, which we were talking a lot about. Came up a lot yesterday on some of the other STEAM lessons that are on newminds.tv. And I believe Mr. Walter is even doing a feature on Greece, on Santorini, the island, in his Around the World with Mr. Walter. So go check that out if you've got kiddos. The top of the little ball part of these earrings is actually painted lava from a volcano, or obviously not a volcano that's erupted anymore, but you get the idea. Painted lava from Greece. Anyway, thanks for the compliment. Moving your body 30 minutes a day. It could be walks. It could be breaks. Basically, when you're talking about these 5 to thrives, whatever works for you. Okay, so I'm going to review them again so I don't get lost. Drinking water, practicing gratitude, moving your body, removing one category of food that you know isn't great for you. Removing one category of food that doesn't make you feel good. Removing one category or one food item shows the point of this is not to like just lose weight and be like, all of that. By the end of the 90 days, you've lost 75 pounds. No, that's not really the challenge. The challenge is, what are you putting in your body with the water to give you sustenance, to do something putting in your body that's good for you? And then the opposite, is there something you can take out? Can you remove something from your diet, from your food that you're intaking? Be reasonable. If you are, your health. Like this is not, if this is a thing for you, and you've got some serious health restrictions or things that you're maintaining to be sure that you're staying super healthy with your immunity and keeping all that up. Be reasonable. None of these things are, do them or you're not passing the challenge. Like that's not the point at all. Okay. So the 5 things, I think there's one more left, and I think I almost always forget this one. So let's go back. Drinking half your body weight in water, practicing gratitude, moving your body 30 minutes a day, removing one category of food, and the last one, oh my gosh, somebody help me out. It'll come to me. I'll just keep going. The idea is that we'll do these things together as a community to keep at the forefront of our minds for the next 90 days. And if today doesn't go so well, good news. You get to start again tomorrow. You get to do that. If tomorrow doesn't go so well either, you can start again the next day. And if this next hour doesn't go so well, start again the hour after that. And that's a little bit about what we're kind of talking today. What we're going to dip into a little bit today is, how are we handling these things? How are you doing on your priorities? Are you keeping them at the forefront of your mind? Doug says thoughtful, loving daily steps to makes for sound advice. That's the plan. Thank you, Doug. I think that's good encouragement for all of us on here. knowing that we can move forward in thoughtful ways and being loving. And so I'm checking in to see how you're doing on the way that you're keep on your mindset. How are you doing with taking care of yourself? How are you doing with keeping your priorities, staying clear on those priorities, maintaining them? A few days ago, Monday and yesterday, we talked about how when we say, I don't have time for that, that brings along with it this huge snowball of implications in the relationships that we have, in the way that we can communicate in a healthy way with people. And what we're really saying when we say, I don't have time, is it's not a priority. And that has way much more power to you in showing that you are in line with your priorities. It has much more power in how you communicate with those that you interact with, that you do have priorities and that you're willing to keep those at the forefront of your mind. And so when they hear you say, oh, okay, well, if it's not a priority, they might not like it. They might be like, well, when is it going to be a priority? Maybe you need to make it a priority. Woo! And if you got that, then go ahead and talk to me. We can have a whole another one-on-one about how to handle that sort of pushback. Know within yourself that when you're saying check yourself, right? That's kind of the challenge, is to check yourself whenever you find yourself saying, I'm out of time. What you're really meaning is you don't have that's not the priority at that time. And that's okay if it's not the priority. If it is a priority, then switch things around. You do have time for it. You're just choosing not to give the time to it at that moment. And yesterday we talked about how we generate our energy. Energy doesn't just come. We don't have energy. The concept I really like and kind of opened my mind to a shift in thinking about this was from Brendon Burchard, and that he says that we're like a power plant. We don't have energy, we generate energy. So if you're sitting around and you're like, I don't have energy, I don't have time, I don't have energy for this. It's too much. Go generate it. If it's important to you, if it's in line with your priorities, and if it's with your why, then you'll have to do some things to generate that energy. And we're going to talk about that today. One of the first ways we can generate energy. You're probably also backing up and realizing that the reason why you don't have energy or you're not feeling energetic, and this can be also emotionally, is that you're experiencing extreme empathy fatigue. You're reading all the news, you're seeing all the forwards from friends and family in group chats, and I'm gonna replace you with me. I am experiencing empathy fatigue, and I'm even limiting how much I'm looking at the news, listening to the news, um, clicking on every link that's shared in group chats, and I can't really do much about when I'm in an actual conversation with someone and they're, info dropping. Actually, I would call it info bombing. Because as soon as they're like, well, did you hear that blah is happening in this part of the world? And it's like, bomb. Like, oh my word. So much to handle, so much to, and I'm starting, we are all starting to be in this phase of empathy fatigue. Some of you have probably been in it since day one. Some of you probably, you are experiencing this anyway, especially as teachers, as even in our classrooms daily. It's a thing that we don't even realize that's draining our energy, because, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, which is why it's this struggle, right? Because we must have empathy as a well-balanced human being, as someone who is connecting with others. We talked a little bit about our mirror neurons in our brains on Monday and in episode 11, and how, even subconsciously, we are mirroring the things that people are giving out to us. And so what ends up happening is that we can even mirror the emotions, right? The emotions that are put out to us in text messages, in watching the news, in reading every article update that comes through from all the places. And that starts to weigh on how I am handling, I'll speak for myself, how I end up handling the normal things around, the interactions with my family, the interactions with the people I do care about in my relationships. And so this empathy fatigue is happening. and it's increasing here in Dallas. Things are in a, here in the U.S. I'll be specific about that. Here in the U.S., things are kind of bubbling up to the top again. They were kind of like, okay, we got it. Now it's back up with some, changes in the school schedule happening again. Things are pushed further out again. And some of this comes back to how we handle change. Let's go back to our first few episodes, 2, 3, and 4, about how we're handling change, what we're doing, how we're maintaining things there. And a lot of this has to do with, you're like, okay, well, great. Now I know all these terrible things that are going on in the world, and terrible things that are going to happen. I don't know, the prediction of the future. Perspective. Deep breath. You have several breathing tools and tips that we've focused on here in Parent Power Hour. If you're tuning in to start the day or end the day with Justin or Ben, you're getting tools and tips there as well as how to manage your physical being, of how you're, okay, I feel it, and I'm going to breathe. So first of all, reset and breathe. And second of all, the thing I'd like to cover over today, because I won't review everything we've talked about in the last 12 episodes, but how we're changing our perspective has a lot to do with how we're handling transitions. And that might seem very granular. However, if you think about it, if you back up a little bit and think about, like, you're checking your email, you get all these emails, all these things from other people, and you start to get overwhelmed, or you're starting to think, if you're not overwhelmed, then you're making your list, your priority list in your head, or writing it down. Okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And you're here at home, and it's 12:30, and it's time for you to step away from that and go prepare lunch for your children, for your family. It's time for you to take your 25-minute break every 25 minutes. Take a break from what you're doing. Good morning, Jessica. Glad that you're here. Ben reviewed yesterday. I don't remember the name of it, so go back and watch episode 12 of End of the Day with Ben. He's giving out some amazing homeschool hacks, and one of them had to do with how you can make this scale of excellence. And I lost my train of thought, so I'm going to come back to shifting our perspective. I got so excited about Jessica being here that I just like, whew. So if you rewind, you can probably follow through my thought there for me, but we're live, so we're going to keep moving on. So how we can release tension from one thing to another, having to do with checking your email, getting overwhelmed, stepping away from that to go prepare lunch for your child, and all of those things are opportunities for you to carry the tension, for you to carry the stress. Your kids are busy and you have 2 minutes to yourself and you're like, I'm just going to catch up on social media. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my gosh, overwhelm, empathy fatigue kicks in again because of all the stories, because of all the links, of all the news highlights. And your 2 minutes of your kids doing work on their own, no, it's all good. It's all good, Jess. Don't apologize. I'm back to it now. I got back to it. We're good. Girl, stop apologizing. That's the title of the book. Inside joke, and also go read the book. It's really amazing. Girl, Stop Apologizing, Rachel Hollis. You don't have time to read. That's why you're here. I'm just going to give you the stuff from the books, okay? So you carry that tension, and you carry that empathy fatigue, and you carry that scroll thing. 2 minutes of your kids doing work on their own is up. You put your phone down. You go back to lunch and focusing on your kids. And you've just carried over that tension from that overwhelm of your email inbox, whatever the case may be, over to your interaction with your kids. And so, or interacting with the loved ones in your home, or maybe it's vice versa. You've just been with your kids all morning and you're like, OMG, I need to step out. I need to get out of here. I'm going to go back to my email and get focused on my inbox because I know that's something that I can just tick, 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 I can click off. But you've still carried over that stress, that overwhelm, that I'm done, whatever your phrase is, wherever you're feeling, you've just carried that over to your inbox. And so now, when you're sitting there trying to sift through your email, which you feel like you have so much power over because you can control what you read and you don't, you're more likely to interpret those headlines and those snippets of what's happening in chat groups and all that, from one thing to the next, because you haven't transitioned. You haven't released the tension from that experience previously to the experience that you're having now. So think about this. Like, have you carried over some negativity? Are you feeling, I know you're feeling the negativity that's swirling around in our world. We all are. How are you carrying that over to from one activity to the next? How is that carrying over into your personal relationships? How's that carrying over into how you interact with your children? How's that carrying over into what is usually a small problem in your email inbox? How's that carrying over to those sorts of things? Do you feel low in your energy? Do you feel low in your capability of, you know what, I got this, I'm going to do it? Yes, Tina says, so true. How many times do we carry those things over and we let our depleted energy in one area carry over into other areas without even a break, because you're just like, I got to get through it, I got to go into the next thing, I got to go think about this, and I got to go prepare this, and I got to go do here. We may not be physically going very many places right now, TBH, right? To be honest. But we are going a lot of places mentally and emotionally and energy level wise in our homes from that one thing to the next. And when you're doing that, are you experiencing a loss of presence? Are you experiencing this thing of like, this isn't on track at all with what's important to me? How did I get here? Are you feeling that when you're starting to have these conversations? Because I bet most of you are going to say yes in some capacity. Even if it's not having to do with the people that's in your home, even if it's after, and I've been on this soapbox and I'm probably not going to get off of it. It is not a hand soap box. I would never waste hand soap like that. But it is that even when we are scrolling through our social media or our news sources, you put that down and you just, what am I going to do with the world, right? You feel it. You know you do. Or you put it down and you're like, I got to go tell all my friends about that thing I just read because they don't know it yet. And it's going to info bomb their life. They need to know it. We need to know what's going on in the world. And I'm being playful with it, but this is a thought process that we have, and you may even subconsciously do it, that you're consuming whatever media about what's going on, you step away from it, and you go back to your dinner table and you're like, well, I don't even know what to do right now. You've just pulled all of that fear that we worked through. We've already worked through our fear. We're done with that. We don't have fear anymore. But no, seriously, we worked through some tips on how to handle our fears and overcome and overwhelm with these sorts of things in a few episodes back. And now you're just carrying all of that from consuming it to now it's coming out of you into even subconsciously into your conversations, into the energy level. And I know 100% that if we begin to change the way we shift, and that if we begin to change the way that we transition from one even activity, it could be not even physical, from one thing to the next, that we will 100% be releasing the tension that's holding us there, and we will find revitalization. Our lives will be revitalized because we are able to reset from one thing to the next. And I know some of you are elementary teachers and you're here and you're thinking, you're like, do you know about transitions? Lord, yes, we know about transitions. Parents, think about the transition that happened with your kiddos when you switched from going to school every day to now you're at home every day. That transition was like, boom, smack in your face. We're done. We're not going there anymore. We're staying here. Wow. I can't think of another more clear example of how the power of how we handle those transitions will infiltrate everything that happens after that. If that could have happened, which it could not have happened in any other way, what had happened was is that all of a sudden, screeching halt, everything's ripped off. You have one day You have this few hours to go back to school to get your books. You must leave school with all of these books because you don't know if you're going to come back. There was no transition. And for us as teachers during the school day, we experienced that. Those of us who are specialists, I know we've got several friends on here that are music teachers. We experience throughout the day several transitions. Your kiddos, if when they were in school, were going from one class to the next class to the next class to the teacher. Middle school and high school, you're going, 90 minutes with this teacher, next 90 minutes with that teacher, and every single one of those experiences is a transition. And if somebody failed a math test at 9 a.m., if you're at home working with your kids and they are struggling with their math in the morning, or they don't like it anyways, and then okay, let's change. Let's do language arts instead. If they were in school and they didn't do well on that test in math in the morning, and then they go over to language arts and they're supposed to be creative and write a fresh story about how someone mastered their demons or whatever the story is, there's no way. They're up here about that failure in their math. And the same thing's happening at home. You're seeing it. They can't switch to language arts because they're still frustrated because that transition hasn't been managed. So from now on, here's the tip, here's the goal. So go ahead and tune back in. I did all of the talking around of, and now we're going to zero in on how we can release our tension. We must intentionally shift our perspective. We have the power as adults, and we're going to practice this together right now, because even right now, you're experiencing some transitions. Even right now, you can intentionally release the tension and the energy that's in your body. So close your eyes if you're comfortable. I'm going to keep mine open so I can keep my eyes on my notes. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, then at least lower your gaze. Find one place to focus your gaze. And we're going to practice releasing the transition, because what I've done probably is in my conversation up to this point, probably started to create a little bit of panic, a little bit of overwhelm and fear in you, and you're like, yes, yes, yes. And if you are like, yes, 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 then that even still has a different level of energy with you right now, right? So go ahead and close your eyes. Realize that there's no sound. There might be that background that's still happening. That's what I hear right now. In your mind, start to repeat this word over and over. Release. Release. As you do, command your body to release the tension in your shoulders. Whew, I feel it too. I woke up with super tight shoulders this morning. Release shoulders. Release neck. In your mind, say it over and over. Release jaw. Release muscles in the forehead. Release back muscles. Release body. Wherever you're feeling this tension in your body. You're feeling it. You're holding it somewhere. You are. Release. Keep saying the word release in your mind. Release the tension in your mind. Release. Release the tension in your spirit. If this is hard for you, just focus on one part of your body. My shoulders are tight. And breathe deeply. And repeat that word release in your mind. This doesn't have to take long, even in the 37 seconds that we've been doing it. You've probably experienced some release. And when you feel that you have experienced release, it doesn't have to be all the tension in the world. All the stress is not going to go away with a few breaths. It could. You have that power. You do have that power. You are in charge of your body. You have control of your body. You can command your body to release. Command your body. You have that. That's a powerful word. Command. When you feel some release in that tension, we're going to move to the next part, which is to set intention. This means think about what you want to feel, like we talked about on Monday. Think about the energy you want to have, like we talked about on Tuesday. What energy do you want to bring to the rest of your time listening to our Parent Power Hour? What energy do you want? What kind of thoughts do you want to bring to the rest of listening to this or watching it if you are? How can you be present with the rest of what we're experiencing right now? Not after this, not after I say goodbye, not after, we're not there yet. How can you think about how can you continue to be present here? How can you participate with excellence? How can you enjoy this process? Right now, breathe again, release. If you're finding it's coming back in, go back and start over again, release. When you feel released, set the intentions. You know what to do. We're here together. I'm looking down at my notes so I can be more clear with you. Breathe in fully and exhale fully. Release the tension in your body and try to ask yourself, what energy do I want to feel for the rest of this time that we have together in Parent Power Hour? How can I retain this information that's coming in and that we're sharing here together? How can I retain this information better? Ask yourself that. Don't have the answer yet. We're asking ourselves lots of questions first. How can I enjoy this time? Who knows? You might even feel more present just asking yourself these questions. And go ahead and move forward in setting your intention by finding the answer to those questions. When you're answering that in your head, that is your intention. What energy do I want to start to feel for the rest of this time in Parent Power Hour? How can I retain this information that's coming in? How can I lock it into my spirit, my soul, my body, and my mind? How can I enjoy this? How can I enjoy it? You might even feel more present to pop up with another comment after we tune back into this, into our intention time. Release tension, set intention. Release tension, set intention. Release tension, set intention. It can be from one transition to the next. It can be when you're done with this, you press escape, you leave Facebook. And for us here in Dallas, it's going to be closer to 11. You might go back and get back to making a second round of coffee to get back to work. You might be revisiting with your children again, getting lunch ready. How are you going to release and set your intention for what you will be doing next? And if you don't feel it, if you don't feel the release, don't go there yet. With kiddos, this is also very powerful. It's going to look and sound different, right? With your 6-year-old, you're not going to say, okay, where do you feel release, tension in your body? Do you feel it? No. Your 6-year-old needs a different level of vocabulary. Yes, thank you, Tina. She says, so simple and yet so effective. And that's the idea. I mean, think about it. We do it as teachers. We do it for our students. Okay, boys and girls, come on in, get your desk, go to your place. That's already a release and a set. They've just come back in from recess. We've asked them to go to their desk. That's a release and a set. It's bigger, but it's something that you can drill in on and be very intentional about on the inside and the emotional part, right? See, look, people are already releasing and they're intentionally present with what we're talking about. Jessica says the tension is all in my neck and my shoulders. And any release is so helpful. And we have to intentionally be that way, right? Like, we can't just be like, okay, yeah, now I feel good. All right, move on. No, because by the end of the day, next thing you know, it's up here. For me, I'm with you, Jessica. Like, up here, I even, like, when I do go have the chance to go and get massages, they're always like, push your shoulders down. Whenever I've practiced yoga with an instructor, they always come and, with my permission, during the session, and they'll like zoop with my shoulders. And I wake up with my shoulders like this. And so command that. And if you don't feel it, don't move on until you do feel it. Because if we carry that tension, even the physical tension, with us from one activity to the next. So when you leave this and you go make lunch for your kiddos, so for kiddos, we were kind of walking through that. You can name those things, right? That's one of the skills or tips and tools we've been practicing is naming it to tame it. And this is true also for how we are carrying tension in our bodies. And so the transition is to kiddos is to say, I can see that you are feeling, name the feeling or name the physical outlet of that, right? And kids are going to be obvious with it. A lot of times you might even see them physically like, and they might even growl, right? They don't have the words yet. So we have to help them have the words. And then we can also lay the groundwork for their transitions. We can also say, okay, we're not ready yet. It's okay that you're not ready. We're changing from math to language arts. You don't love language arts. We already know that going into it. So what can we do instead? How do you want to feel about learning? I don't like learning. Okay, I'm being really silly, but you get the idea. Okay, you can follow through on that with your own kids. And you know your kids best, and you know yourself best. What do you need to do if you're frustrated with working with them? If you're experiencing frustration, that means you're experiencing tension. You can even model for them and say, "Ooh, okay, this is not, this is tough. Like, I don't know how to teach you this, and I'm feeling a lot of stress. You know what? I'm gonna move my shoulders, I'm gonna move my neck, I'm gonna release all the stress." And kids understand, for the most part, they're gonna understand the word release. You can also change it to let it go, right? Let it go. Unintentional, it just happened. But seriously, I've also done this before with students in the classroom. 15 years of experience. I even just singing "Let It Go" to them, they're like, "Oh my gosh, especially the older ones, oh, we hate it. Please don't sing that." And that's already given them a release because they've been able to take whatever frustration they were experiencing interpersonally between a classmate, whatever they're experiencing through siblings. You can switch that, you can flip that script, right? You can put that fight or flight back out of the way and get back to our logical thinking brain. You can do all that with the silliest things like singing "Let It Go." And that's a literal translation of release, right? So those are some tips for how you can maybe modify. I would love to hear how you're finding that you can modify release tension and set intention if you do have kids at home. I would love to hear how even the places where you are starting to notice. And it doesn't mean that by the end of the day you're going to have this chant and you're like, check, next. What can I be awesome at tomorrow? This is something that we don't conquer. This is something that we practice. And I'd love to hear how you're practicing it. I'd love to hear how you start to notice it and notice even a little more often than you thought you were doing, that you were carrying tension from one thing to the next, that meltdown that happened at bedtime is still with you today, and it's 10:45, and that's real. Like, that's gonna happen. Your disappointment with yourself. I got a DM earlier this week from someone saying, she was telling me a funny story about how she had to tell her inside voice person, who she named, she had to tell Sis to shut it because Sis was comparing her physical fitness goals to the people that she was in this physical fitness challenge with, and she had to tell her Sis and her brain to shut it. And she probably carried some tension, and she got it out she shared it with me because I asked her to, because in a different group I was manage helping them with giving them some tools and tips on how to manage overwhelm and manage fears and how to move through our fears instead of eliminating them, because again, human experience, it's not going to stop. There will always be things that are new, and if there's always things that are new, you don't know what you're doing, and when you don't know what you're doing, the most common feeling there is fear, because you don't know what you're doing. So in that group, we were discussing that, and I was giving that tip about how if you name that person, that negative person in your head, that negativity talk in your head, that kind of gives a little bit more of a separation from it's me, because it's not you. It's not you. You telling yourself that you're going to be worse at your running goal at the beginning of the fitness test than you were at the end of the test, or that you were better, the numbers are better, you ran faster, you were able to run longer, but then you go back and you look at how everybody else ran on the first one, and your ending one still isn't as good as the whoa. That's somebody else in there, because where that's that negative talk, right? And so you got to name that. You got to get that out of your way and tell it to shut it down. I use some other words in that group because it's a little bit more, if no kids are around. But to bring that back around is to say that, she was carrying some tension from her seeing her own numbers and comparing her numbers to other people's numbers, and she shut it down. She shut it down, and I wonder if that intention or that tension that she was, that self comparison and all of that negativity that she was experiencing, I wonder if she was able, because of that, she released it. She passed it on to me. She took that. She named it. She released it. She set a new intention for herself. She didn't even know that she did that and if she did, preach on, sis. Like, keep it going. But I think you get what I'm saying here, right? And I would love to hear from you about how even the littlest things that you might have a new perspective, you might have shifted your perspective, and you've okay, the negativity is not going away, the bad news is not going away, the things that we can't control aren't going away, but how we handle them can. I hope this is helpful for you today. I hope it felt real. I hope you had some inspiration and that you learned something new about yourself, or that you can help the others around you with. As always, here on NewMinds.tv, thank you so much for spending your time with me, either live or recorded. And I hope that you're able to continue to follow all of your passions, continue to cultivate your passions so that they can become your talent, become ultimately who you are. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. And here's to attempting to have better sound next time. Bye-bye.